Welcome to the American International Motorcycle Expo presented by Nationwide, or AIM Expo as we call it. So I got a quick question here. This is the show's first time in Las Vegas, so how many of you, this is the first time you've been to AIM Expo ever? Wow, outstanding. Thanks for being here. Welcome to the show, and we're pleased that for the commitment that you've all made to attend your industry's annual trade gathering, as there's a lot that we collectively can do to further our businesses. And I don't think there's anyone here today that wouldn't say that business could be better. You might be surprised to learn that coming together as an industry has roots deeper than you might have imagined. Earlier this year, I took up a quest to discover what I could about the industry's earliest shows, and it was quite revealing thanks to our friends at Google having digitized a lot of the motorcycle magazines all the way back to the first decade of the 1900s. Emerging from the bicycle industry, our industry took shape first by attaching motors to bicycles, and then followed by designing purpose-built motorcycles that weren't bicycles at all. But what I discovered was that our fledgling industry was being challenged on many fronts, including being allowed, if you can believe this, to exhibit at the auto shows of the day, as the early automakers viewed motorcycles, the new two-wheeled motorized transportation, as competition. So they had a hard time getting into shows. And working individually, the OEMs of the day, which included notable brands Reading Standard, Curtis, Pierce, Merkel, Harley-Davidson, Hendy, and others, found it difficult to exhibit their motorcycles at auto shows, and believe it or not, that was the prime motivator to have an industry association created. Following 12 months of preliminary planning to create such an association, on October 20th of 1908, just a few days shy of 110 years ago, while meeting in Detroit, a constitution and bylaws were adopted and officers were elected to the newly formed Motorcycle Manufacturers Association. Elected first president was George Hendy of Hendy Motor Company, manufacturer of the Indian motorcycle. And also in attendance that historic day were W.T. Marsh of the American Motor Company, J.D. Hurley of the Aurora Automatic Machinery Company, more commonly known for their Thor brand of motorcycle, C.E. Becker from the Auto Buy Company, F.C. Roby from the Excelsior Supply Company, Arthur Davidson, a name you might recognize from the Harley-Davidson Motor Company, GM Hornecker from the Hornecker Motor Manufacturing Company, Percy Pierce from the Pierce Cycle Company, and W.F. Rempis from the Reading Standard Company. Your trade association of today, the Motorcycle Industry Council, is a direct descendant of the Motorcycle Manufacturers Association created in 1908 and incorporated in New York in 1914. So we have a lot of history, and it's great that you're here today as part of that continuing history. The stated objectives of the association were set forth as to secure proper representation in spaces at the annual shows, number one on the list, to secure just legislation, to obtain proper classification and freight rates, to further the general interest of motorcycling, and to advance the relations between manufacturers, agents, and riders. And much like we do today with the American Motorcyclist Association, we're working together to support, at that time, the Federation of American Motorcyclists in its legislative and good roads movement. And the FAM actually later on did become the AMA. So as you can see, the challenges of 1908 aren't terribly dissimilar than 2018, but there's one difference. We actually have our own show. As much as our industry forefathers recognized the value of shows to promote their newfangled machines, they also recognize the value of getting together as an industry, much as we are here today. In reading through those early magazines, I also discovered the industry's desire to help the emerging dealer base through the sharing of best practices. You'll have that opportunity again this week through the content we've assembled as part of Dealer Summit at AIM Expo. So what is Dealer Summit? Pretty much it's the idea that our annual industry show is a lot more than just exhibits on the show floor. It's the opportunity to improve all of our businesses. Before the show opened, over the past couple of days, there's been 20 group meetings. There's been OEM activities with dealers and other things going on. And when the show opens, you can take advantage of the Powersports dealer seminars presented by Powersports Business, offering a valuable lineup of presentations to bolster dealership profitability and operations. They begin today, and they're actually right next door to the room right here at 11 o'clock and run through tomorrow. Tomorrow at noon, there's a special dealers-only luncheon presented by KTM that will feature a keynote from a highly energized speaker sharing insights applicable to your dealership. In fact, he's so energized, I'd like to introduce him right now so he can quickly share why you should attend this key component of Dealer Summit. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Nick Gray.